I got a little bio I'm gonna throw in there too. Yeah,
I'm excited.
I wrote a bio up about you.
Oh.
It might not be 100% accurate, but because I did some
research.
I did some research, but I also did some guessing.
Okay.
So just correct me.
Yeah.
On names and
Gotcha.
stuff. It's nothing crazy.
That's groovy.
Cheers. I'm drinking LaCroix and coffee here. If you're on the Days Grim podcast, they'd say, God bless you, every time you open or every time you crack a cup.
Unfortunately, I haven't been on their podcast. I need to get on there.
I know, and
yeah.
I feel like I've heard on 4 or 5 occasions, they're like, oh, we need to get Kadin in the studio. He didn't make,
Man, they haven't asked me officially. I mean, they've just talked to the band or whatever, but
they're probably going to try to get you guys back on after
Louder Than Life. Yeah,
fest.
I would hope so, because I really want to meet those guys.
Yeah.
We met them at the Evansville show, but they were cool there.
They're good, yeah. Yeah, they were on the podcast 3 episodes ago.
Okay, I haven't gotten to that one yet. I'm still on Lucas's podcast, which is really good so far. So
that's awesome.
I'm excited, though, to get to it.
All right, awesome.
So,
okay, I got a little intro I'm going to throw down, then we'll jump right in.
Cool.
Okay, so hello, miners, and welcome to the 6th episode of Mining in the Foothills, where I am on the search for dialectic gold with doers from around the Midwest. I am going to turn up my headphones just a bit. I'm Wes from Opus, and my guest today is Kadin Rea, bass guitarist, and like 2 of my previous podcast guests, Rylan and Lucas, episode 1 and episode 4, I think. He is a founding member of Southern Indiana's rock and roll sensation, The Strangers. In the past 6 months, Kadin and his bandmates have released their debut album, toured around the Midwest, playing shows in cities like Nashville, Cincinnati, Indy, Dayton, all across their little bubble here. Released a mini documentary, and most recently, they won the DWPresents Battle for the Big Stage, which landed them a gig at the legendary Troubadour Theater in L.A., which they already played. And then from there, which they won that last championship, from there they got a slot playing the main stage at the 2022 Louder Than Life Music Fest, taking place this Sunday, September 25th, in Louisville. It's going to be lit. For the past 4 years, Kadin has been, in addition to being the band, has been a live sound engineer for the Hoosier Celebration Theater. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
I had
to
fucking Google that.
That's good, yeah.
Mixing the audio of daily theatrical shows taking place at Holiday World and Splashin Safari in Santa Claus, Indiana. This past May, Kadin graduated from Heritage Hills High School and currently resides with his family, who also lives in Santa Claus, but he bounces back and forth to Evansville, where the band is. So, Kadin, thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. I'm excited. This is going to be fun. Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So, as I was prepping for this episode, it struck me how crazy it is that you just graduated a little over 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Since you graduated, you played a bunch of shows. The band has progressed a bunch. And when you hear about those past 6 months, like when the bio I said you released the record, released the documentary, toured around the little area or Midwest.
Yeah.
Went to LA, won the battle for the big stage. Now you're gearing up for the biggest show of your band's career. What does it feel like to think that you were walking the halls of Heritage Hills just 6 months ago?
It's more like 3 months ago, 4 months ago or something like that. But like I don't even know. It doesn't even really feel entirely real because I haven't had like a moment to like sit back and take it all in because it's just been like this happens and the next thing happens and the next thing happens. It's just like flying by. I haven't really had a moment to sit back and really just like reflect on everything that's happened.
Yeah.
But there's been like a lot that's happened in between those 6 months.
We're good.
Yeah, it's just like I was gonna go to college. I had a whole new plan going for me, and then Lucas entered us into this competition, and then now I'm staying around here because we won that, thankfully.
Which is nuts. I mean, like it's crazy.
It's crazy
that one
to think about
contest.
Yeah.
Which I had never even heard of.
Me neither, yeah.
This time last year or anything. I think it's been going on for a while. But like the fact and listen. You can listen to episode 4 for people listening to get like a really in-depth talk about the contest and all that shit. But like, it's crazy how we kind of mentioned this in Rylan's podcast, but like, it's not that the band wasn't headed towards anything, because clearly you guys are. But like, after the tour wrapped up, there was no set plan on like yes, there's new music, but there was no date set on a record.
Yeah,
there was no like nothing coming in necessarily that was like huge, and you had the opportunity to go to LA.
Yeah,
to go to music school.
It was Orange County, California. Yeah, so yeah, I was in this big like dilemma, and it was the biggest decision I've ever had to make. I spent like 4 months thinking about it.
Yeah. It was like always on the horizon.
Yeah, and it was like I just dreaded the day that I actually had to make the final call on that. And then I decided that I was gonna go after I took like a visit over there, and I really liked it. And they were like offering me like a spot on their touring band that like tours like Alaska and Orlando and all these like crazy places. So there's just like a lot out there, and it's like 5 minutes from the beach. It's like the perfect lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it's also a ticket out of here.
Yeah, it is. But and then none of that is to say that like, well, I was definitely gonna miss the band. That's for sure. Like that was the hardest part. It was leaving the guys, and thankfully Lucas pulled through and he entered us into this competition. And whenever he
without really telling anyone.
No, yeah, he didn't tell anybody. Yeah. And then I didn't even know what it was gonna like mean. So like I still had all my plans to go to California.
Yeah.
And then like as the competition was going on, I'm like, okay, well, college may have to go on hold for a little bit. And then all of a sudden we win the whole thing, and we're gonna play at like the biggest rock festival in America. Yeah. And that's kind of like a pretty clear sign to me that I needed to stay with the band,
Yes.
And I'm thankful that it was like a clear cut, like just like a final sign that was like, hey, you need to stay here, instead of like, oh, I might need to stay here, I might need to do that, or whatever. But yeah,
the timing worked out crazy, because like this whole contest took place in August. You were gonna leave it like in September
1st.
Yeah, the very first day of September. So like, and you played the Troubadour on August 28th.
Yes.
I mean, it was like...
It was right. It was all within like a week of each other. It was kind of crazy. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, and like Lucas actually mentioned that in his podcast. He said, I really believe now that everything has happened for a reason. And that like the guys that are in our band now, like this lineup and what's happening, like this was supposed to happen. Because he said... Even when I got that text from Kadin that he was going to be heading out, he's like, I just had this feeling like, oh, man, it's real and it doesn't feel right.
Yeah. It didn't feel right to me either. Yeah. It really didn't. But
I mean, you got to decide sometimes. I mean, like sometimes it takes sacrifice. And I know that like, I know that there's a lot of feelings about that, like to decide that you're going to leave the band. But ultimately, it didn't happen. Yeah. And you're in the fucking band
Thankfully,
still.
yes. And being a part of the band's been one of the greatest parts of my life. It's been awesome.
How old were you when you joined the band? Or when the band started, really? Like when the official... when you started jamming with the guys and stuff.
Okay.
Do you remember how old you were?
Yeah, I think that was like springtime of my freshman year. So I think I would have been like 15. I think I was 15 years old.
A freshman?
Yeah, that's whenever we started jamming. And then we had our first show like August like 25th, I think, or something like that, of my sophomore year. So I was also 15 at that point. So then now I'm 19, so it's been like 4 years. So
okay. So were you you're the freshman, you're the youngest in the bunch. Like you were a young kid jamming with like juniors and seniors or something?
I looked at Rylan and Lucas like they were like above me, because they were like these upperclassmen, and they were like just like so cool, and I was so nervous going to like our first practice, because I was like, I don't even know these guys or whatever. But it turned out being just fine. And I was actually playing guitar at first.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you knew that or not, because Lucas was playing bass. Okay. And then he kind of realized that like singing and playing bass just like wasn't for him at the moment,
Okay.
So
he wasn't gonna Paul McCartney it.
No.
Up there.
Yeah. So I kind of took over bass, but bass was my main instrument. So like I was perfectly fine with that, and it's worked out. So
let's go further back. Do you like when did your musical career let's go back to music. So like early, like young Kadin, were you playing instruments your whole life? Was your family in music? Like, how did you get into?
So
'Cause you're not originally from Santa Claus, right?
No. I was born in Indianapolis. Then we moved to a few places. Like we moved to like Chicago, and then I grew up
because your dad's a preacher.
Yes,
right.
Yes,
okay.
And then I grew up in New Albany, Indiana, for like a year or two,
Gotcha.
and then I moved to Santa Claus in first grade. But before that, I was playing piano a little bit, and it wasn't like anything I was super devoted to because I'm just like this kindergarten kid or whatever.
Right.
But
you're still learning how to read.
Yeah, but
talk.
Apparently I was decent for my age. And then whenever we moved, I took a break from music for a good, I would say like 5 years, and then like 4th or 5th grade, I picked up bass.
Okay.
I don't even really know why I picked up bass rather than guitar. I think it was because I liked the bass parts in Guitar Hero is what it was.
Oh, really?
I think that's what kind of sparked my interest, which
That's
is weird.
Interesting.
Because usually whenever people want to play guitar or like a stringed instrument, they go to lead guitar because they want to play all the solos and everything.
Yes.
Which is reasonable. But,
and like, I feel like when you're that age, you're looking up at these bands.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the bass players are
in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for like Flea.
Yeah.
He's kind of all over the place. I mean, there's
exceptions.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, you got like Slash that's out there shredding, and everybody wants to be Slash. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So.
Including Rylan.
Yes. he's in that category.
Yes. So did you immediately start taking lessons on bass, or like how did that?
So I took some lessons from the senior pastor at our old church for a few months. I just wasn't really feeling it there, so I just kind of did it on my own for a little bit, and that was the best thing that ever could have happened to me musically, because I started actually learning stuff that I wanted to learn. Like I learned the bass line to Crazy Train, and I thought I was like the best bass player on the planet. I just wanted to keep going.
Yeah.
And then I started taking lessons at More Music, and that's what like kind of really got me going, into like all the crazy stuff like arpeggios and chords and all that, understanding like the theory and what's like going on behind the music. But
did
a
you
lot
know
of it,
theory before that
I knew very little just from school. You know what I mean? So like just like
you're pretty versed in theory now. Like
yeah.
When you talk about it and stuff, you know way more than I do about theory.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. Yeah, and there's always way more to learn about theory. It's like this never-ending rabbit hole that you can just go down. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And it's useful too. But I knew very little theory, and then I started learning more about it at More Music. And then I really learned it like just kind of playing around on my own.
Okay.
So I'm mostly self-taught, but I've had like a few like lessons here or there, like throughout my career. So
when you went to More Music, was it EMA already?
Yes, I was, and I took lessons from a guy named Jason, and he was. It definitely was one of the best players I've ever heard in my entire life. And
is he still around?
He doesn't work there anymore. No, he might live in the area, but I'm not entirely sure. But he was a beast on the bass, and it's just kind of crazy because to think that like a lot of the best bass players in the world like they could be random people that no one knows because they don't play on stages. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, that's true.
I never really thought about that until I took lessons with him. You know what I mean?
Well, and like I was thinking this. Earlier today too, thinking about you, like just you playing bass and the Spanish stuff. I was thinking, from my experience this past year, trying to find good bass players, they're all taken. Like first of all, like they're all in bands, which is fine, but like they're just harder. They're like there's less good bass players. There's a lot of good guitar players in our area. I don't know. I don't really know the degree of good and great guitar players, but there's the bass players are harder to find.
Yeah, it's really hard to find a solid bass player that's like really in depth, knows what they're doing. Like everyone can play root notes or whatever, but like if you want to like throw in some fills or like follow the drum rhythms and everything, that's kind of harder to find. And like if you're a bass player, you're always gonna have a job. You know what I mean? You're not competing with everybody. But like if you're a guitarist, like everyone plays guitar. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like I feel like for job security, I picked the right instrument. So I'm happy with that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Like I said, it's harder to find. I reached out to everybody locally who I knew, and I didn't get one single available bass player to even do anything.
Oh my goodness.
So it's just they're just
it's hard to come by.
Find.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah.
So you're in. So did the band members so you get to high school? You play you're playing bass all through middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I started in elementary school. Yeah.
Okay. So by that time, you're taking lessons in middle school or high school.
Middle school I was taking lessons, and then high school I kind of went on my own for a little bit.
Okay.
So
and
then
the guys know that you're playing. These guys in school know that you're playing the bass.
Yeah, I guess so.
Were you in band?
So I was in band, but I think this is how they found me. I'm pretty sure this is a story. So I posted a video of me playing guitar to on my Instagram, and it was an Avenged Sevenfold song, and I think it was Nightmare was the song. I don't know if you know that song or not.
I don't know. I know very little about. I know a couple of their hits, but
it's like a metal song, you know. Okay. And it was probably a pretty poor version of it. You know what I mean? But I think
you were getting it. You were probably like...
I don't know. I really don't know.
Maybe you weren't.
But like I was like a freshman and I posted it just because I thought it was cool. And then I guess Lucas saw it, and then Lucas ended up showing Rylan, and then Rylan hit me up and he's like, "Yo, you like rock and roll?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
I remember that.
Yeah. And I'm like,
"Yo,
yes.
you like rock and roll."
Yeah. That's the iconic line.
Yeah,
that's from Rylan Cox. And then I was like, "Yeah, man." So we started jamming, and then just kept going, and then eventually we're the strangers. So
I forgot. So I forgot you said you originally came in with the guitar.
Yeah.
So at some point, then you picked up the bass, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, okay, you could play bass."
Well, I think they already knew that I could play bass, but I think it was because Lucas wanted to play bass and sing. But the thing was, I may be wrong about this, but I think Lucas just didn't really feel like singing and playing at the same time. So then I'm like, yeah, I'll just play bass with the band. You know what I mean?
Because he was just standing in it, or not standing in, but he was singing because you didn't have a singer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then he eventually realized that he just wanted to do it, and then he started getting really good, and then we're like, okay, yeah.
And practicing and taking lessons.
Yeah, he was very, very good about intentionally bettering himself, and he's gotten insane amount of improvement. It's been awesome. He's been amazing. So
dude,
I love
since
Lucas.
I met him, from our first sessions ever, which were demo sessions at Grandma Gerlina's Newburgh place.
Yes.
It's from that moment, and I haven't listened to the demos that we did first, but Lucas said, he's like, dude, if you listen to those and then you listen to new records or new recordings of his vocal, it sounds like a totally different person.
Yeah.
And I know from that moment to even finishing the first record with you guys, I think the last song we did was Sweet Holly, and he came in and knew what he wanted and just killed it. That was the first song where we didn't do any stopping, going. It was just a couple full takes. All right, man.
It worked out. Yeah, it worked really well. Yeah, it was good.
So he has improved a shit ton.
Yeah,
over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So then the band, so then the band sticks together. You guys you play your first show when you're a sophomore.
Yeah.
And then Noah, was he in the band right away?
I
can't remember.
So he was there for our first show, yeah.
But he wasn't the first drummer.
No, we went through a couple of guys before Noah, and they just weren't the right fits for just whatever reasons. And then whenever we had the idea of Noah, it's kind of a debate between me and Lucas of who had the idea.
Your story.
So I believe I was the one who thought of Noah Loper being in the band. I'm pretty much 100% sure, because I was in a previous band with him called In the Basement, and they were
which is that James's band?
Yeah, James's band. Okay. James Werney. Yeah, so James.
Yes, shout out to James.
Yeah,
Werney.
I think you guys were talking about him on Lucas's
a little
podcast.
bit. Yes, because he came out during the benefit show and played a couple songs.
Yes,
with you guys.
So I actually played a show with Noah and James back in 2017.
Okay.
And I think I was in 8th grade or something like that, and that was in that metal band. So I always knew Noah was a really good drummer. So whenever we were having issues finding a permanent drummer, I thought of Noah, and I didn't think he was going to say yes at first.
Really?
Just because I haven't talked to him in forever. It's been a while.
Was he a senior?
Noah?
When you were a freshman? Or
Noah graduated. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Noah was graduated. Yeah, I think he would graduate the year before or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe even later. I don't know.
2 years older than Lucas and Rylan.
Is that what it is?
I thought so.
Okay, yeah. But anyway, yeah, I had the idea of him from In the Basement, And he came over and he started jamming with us. And like we were all having a great time, just playing like Highway Tune by Greta Van Fleet and like just like ripping it, you know. And then it just kept gelling, and it was working more and more and more. So yeah,
that's awesome.
That's my side of the story. You can ask Lucas about his side of the story.
Yeah, I will. I think he might have said his side of the story on.
I don't think it was very convincing.
Documentary, yeah. And I don't think either of you got the stage to really like set in place the story. But so then you guys, so that's the lineup. James doesn't stick with you, but that's the lineup. It's solidified.
Mm-hmm.
Then I guess we're just doing a fucking history here, a little band history.
Yes, we are. Yeah, let's do it. Let's dive in.
Yeah, but then you guys play throughout, or like you're playing show, or did you play many shows?
We didn't play a whole lot of shows after that first show. I think we were just mainly focused on kind of writing our own music at that point.
Okay.
We did play the Dale Fall Fest pretty much immediately after our first show, and like we were just super excited. And actually, we weren't supposed to play that show because we reached out to them and they said that they were already full. They didn't have they already had all their bands set in place. But then some guy had like a throat issue at the Fall Fest. So the day before, they contact us and they're like, "Hey, we have a 4-hour slot if you want to come and fill it."
Oh my god!
So we say yes, and we don't have 4 hours of material. We don't know what we're gonna do.
Play the same set twice.
I don't remember. I think we did repeat some songs, but we did like a lot of jamming or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But
which can be just as enjoyable.
Yeah, it can be
if the musicians are good.
Yeah, which we were kind of rusty back then. Looking at videos of us back then was kind of like, you know, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But the Dale Fall Fest was like kind of like the big thing in our area. That's where like all the kids went to have fun. It's like an annual thing. So whenever we got that offer, we immediately jumped on it without knowing what exactly we were gonna do for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an experience. So yeah.
And like I think I met you probably shortly after that. I think I got my first text from Rylan at like the end of 2018 or something, or the beginning, which we didn't get together right away. Like it took some time before I eventually came to the jam room and heard you guys play. Mm-hmm. I think you played some original stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of foggy on that timeline, to be honest. I don't really remember when that was.
Yeah, I think it was like the end of 2018. But like that's when I met you guys, and then I started coming around a little bit more. I didn't have Wally Opus or anything.
Yeah.
I owned 2 microphones, I think, at the time. Like I didn't have
anything.
Yeah. I didn't have anything. And he asked me if like I record bands. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I can.
Yeah,
I can figure it out. But and then. So then, I guess I come around a little bit more, and then we sign a for like 1-year deal. We start making a record.
Yeah.
And then, but then shortly after that, let's see, no, it would have been 6 months after that. Noah passes away from an accidental overdose.
Yeah.
Band goes on halt for a sec, and then. We came together in this very room, almost where you're sitting. Yeah. Literally, there's a video of you sitting on your bass amp.
Yeah.
Playing
right here.
Literally, I think almost exactly where you're sitting, like playing over some drums.
Yeah.
So let's go back to that first, like those first moments when we started cutting the new record. Like, what do you remember?
I remember the first meeting that we had all together after Noah passed. It was down here in the studio, and it was very stripped back. You were in the process.
There was nothing really here.
Yeah, you were like just building it or whatever. We were all kind of just like leaning up against the walls, sitting down, just talking through like, do we still want to do this?
Right.
And I think we all came to the conclusion that we wanted to do it. We just didn't know how because we didn't really have anything except for the demos of Noah on drums.
Yep.
And that was just kind of the perfect solution for having him live on in the music.
Yep.
So then we just kind of agreed to do that. But yeah.
And because there was no drummer, there was no backup drummer.
No. Yeah, we didn't know anybody either. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
And at the time too, which looking back now, I actually think that I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday about something else, but it kind of applies here that like I think subconsciously we were like when we started doing that work to Noah's drums, it was almost like a form of healing or a form of like processing our emotions.
It really was, yeah.
It really brought everybody back together because, for anybody who's ever lost somebody, like I never lost anybody when I was your guys' age, especially somebody close, somebody who I was in a part of something with, like a band. But like from my perspective, watching you guys, you kind of like, it broke the unit for just a second. You know what I mean? Or a month or two before we came back together. But even then it was like, it's not like everybody came back together and it was just jolly, chippy.
Yeah.
Let's make a record.
Exactly.
It was like, how the hell are we going to do this?
Yeah. Even if we wanted to do it. Like, I know, I think Rylan was talking about, like, he had a hard time, I believe, with, like, the riffs that we jammed with Noah. Like, we didn't know if we could, like, still play those riffs and that it would feel the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because it was, like, so special to us, because they were, like, jam sessions that we would have with him. So we didn't even know if we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But until we figured out the whole demos with Noah thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we kind of took a little break. We all needed to heal a little bit. Obviously, it's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
But I think after we kind of got over like the first month or two, that's whenever we were kind of ready to like come back together and then like talk it out as a group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which that was really good. Just like everyone being real with each other, just like there was lots. Yeah, there was.
I know, dude.
There was lots of emotions flying around at that time.
I know,
but yeah, it was. And then we ultimately decided to carry on with it. So which I think was the best decision that we could have made. So
I think so too. And it, looking back now, I mentioned this a little bit on Lucas's podcast or Rylan, I don't even remember, but like I said, and this is all due respect to Noah, to his family, to you guys, to everybody. But I really feel like that his benefit show was kind of the goodbye, not to Noah, but to that specific chapter of the Strangers in terms of like, I feel like now it's not so much Thielen's taking Noah's place. It's that Thielen has formed his own place within the band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And Noah lives on because he wrote the first record and played on the record. So I think looking back now, it's like, dude, that's the best way that you guys could have honored your fallen brother was like the record, the artwork.
Yeah, and
the shows.
That was really good for the whole like healing process too, because like it just brought back so many memories and everything. And like for me, I played 2 sets that night because we actually had
that's true.
Yeah, we had
His
In the
Basement.
Basement. We had In the Basement open up for the Strangers. So I played in 2 sets. So I played the same songs
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I played the same songs that I played with Noah with In the Basement. Followed by the same songs that I played with him with The Strangers. So it was like a whole thing. Like, it just felt so right. And then by the end of the night, it was just like, it was really good for all of us. I think it was. So.
I think so too. And it was good for the community because, like, I truly believe that you guys are you're a grassroots movement in our area in terms of, like, especially in Santa Claus. Like, you guys have... Like the reason I think, or a major reason, I think that you guys won this DW contest, the Twitch voting, for example, was because you have such loyal friends, family, and fans.
Yes.
That like Lucas said in one round, you guys beat somebody that has like 100,000 monthly listeners.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, they might not even know 100 of their fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
And like you guys personally know a ton of people that you utilize and are like that you pull from
a lot of
really
people
love
are
supporting
to.
you.
Yeah, it's awesome. We have such an amazing connection with our fans. Like a lot of like we know a lot of them personally, and they'll like come out and support us to different events. Like we just played like the Christmas Fall Fest, and we had a bunch of people come just to see us. You know what I mean? And that was just it's just like an amazing feeling whenever people just show up for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and then we like to show up for them and like hopefully give back by like new music and all that, new shows. But yeah, it's been cool,
dude. I think one of the biggest things you can do to give back to people who look up to you or who follow you is doing what you're doing. Like like making them proud because
I hope so. Yeah.
These people are the early adopters. Like they're going to be able to say, I saw the Strangers when they played the Christmas Fall Fest, or like I know some people still say I was at their first show at that.
It was at the rec center in the village of Santa Claus in Christmas League
There's some
Village.
epic videos of Lucas
crowd surfing. Yeah, he was crowd surfing to Shadow.
Sweet! Your own original.
That was so funny, and there was like about 90 high school kids there. It was just all of our friends were there, having a great time. Like I remember we played Smells Like Teen Spirit that night, and like literally the crowd went absolutely wild. Like they were all jumping up and down, like starting mosh pits and everything. And it was just like our first show. We probably didn't play the best, you know.
It didn't matter.
Yeah,
dude. You guys were loud instruments.
It was the energy. You know what I mean? It was the moment. So we were all captured.
I think it like really, like it shows the area that you're from too. I mean, like not a lot happens there except for Holiday World.
Yeah,
Holiday World's a fucking big deal. I was googling it this morning trying to figure out your what the name of the stage theater was.
Yeah.
But like I think that it's just there's not a ton that happens there. So when something sparks like you got, you know, something starts taking off, it really is like a communal thing. People want you. It's like when the football team goes to state and everybody's like, come on, you know, we're rooting for the home team.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot that goes on in our town. You know, we have just it's like a 2,000 person town. You know, I mean, I guess like we have Jay Cutler that went to our high school, and then that was a big deal. That was a huge deal, and then like kind of nothing for like the rest of time. You know what I mean? So we're kind of hoping to do something special, you know, and hopefully we can give back. But yeah, it's a small town, and it's played in our favor, and I wouldn't change a thing about it. So
well, that's what I mean, dude. It's like it really is like it like I think to make, you know. People love seeing that though, like people that they know go on, like you guys playing the main stage. It's just like a really big deal for a place that doesn't have a lot of big deal stuff. Yeah, and for all the people who knew you and Noah was in your band, especially your like friends and family, that close knit circle. I really think like kind of going back a little bit, but like the way that you guys handled it, all the shows, the documentary, like. Playing the documentary in the middle of the Noah's Give Back concert. All of this stuff was like, it was a way to honor him, but looking back now, I'm like, it was a way to heal. Like it was a way to process.
Yeah,
and like you said, it's still happening. But I just think looking back now, I'm like, I'm so proud of the way that you guys handled it. That like we went about it as a like little squad.
Yeah,
but. It wasn't easy, like you said.
No.
I mean, looking back now, it's like, oh, we just made it. Like, but
it definitely
was a lot of days down here recording guitar, Rylan playing with his tone, and just tons of time.
And that was the entire day, just playing with guitar tone. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, it was interesting. I would like knock out my bass tracks fairly quickly, and then like I just like sit around and watch Rylan move knobs around on his amp. You know what I mean?
Well, dude, I actually check. We still there? Can you talk?
Yeah, check.
Okay,
check,
good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I heard some static. I didn't know what that was.
Oh no,
it's the second time I've heard that.
Huh.
I feel like there might be some static in the signal somewhere. Anyway, okay, but I actually had that written down in some of my notes. Was like, I'll just read what I wrote.
Okay.
When I think back, I think about recording your parts, and I think you might have had the simplest part in making the record in terms of like, we used the original drums, so you pretty much knew your parts. The only thing that was different, I'm not reading this thing anymore, but like the only thing that was really different was like there was some songs that we edited, we cut and pasted and moved shit around, but like you made up a few new parts, like in Shadow.
Yeah.
I remember you played that. I'm like, ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, we're putting that in there. Yeah.
But you really like yours was, and I feel like bass is pretty straightforward in that way. We're not layering 6 basses. And doing all this intricate shit.
Work on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I had my parts pretty much solidified whenever I came in here. Where as with like Rylan and Lucas, we were like playing with different riffs or melodies or tones or layering guitars to see what effects we could get with it. But luckily with bass, like I had my parts pretty much solidified. I didn't have to go through a whole lot of that process. It was just pretty quick. So,
but I feel like what's useful about, okay, yes, you laid down your parts, but it doesn't mean that you weren't here, like listening, giving input, saying something doesn't sound right. Like you were a good, like for example, if we're sitting here making, or if we're recording and it's Rylan recording guitar parts, and it's me and Rylan for 3 hours recording this part, and it's just I'm not sure how to feel about it. We can consult on you at the time and be like, does this sound good? Like, what do you think? You know, and you're there. Like, so I do feel that, you know, in writing that, it was like you had the simplest part in recording, or it was like the simplest process in recording you for the record, but like your input was invaluable because you know music.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I really
cool
do
to hear.
feel that way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you played guitar on Do the Ice Sparkle.
Oh yeah, we did do
acoustic.
that. Yeah.
You played all the bass parts, which that is a song. That
Natural Forces.
Natural Forces.
Yeah.
That is a song where we did do a bunch of bass work.
Yeah.
So I take back what I said a second ago, because that is one song where we went.
Yeah, I don't think people really know the kind of the story behind that song.
Yeah.
I remember.
Tell it from your perspective.
Yeah, so I remember it was just me, you, and Lucas in the studio down here.
One day.
Yeah, one day, and like we're talking about, hey, we should throw in like an intro to Electric Love on the album.
Because I think you were doing that live, weren't you?
We were doing that live. Yeah, we were. Yeah. So you were just like, yeah, let's just like start and see what happens. You know what I mean? So like I start playing the little arpeggio thing that I have going on. And then like Rylan wasn't there, so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I have to throw on a lead part now, but I don't have a guitar on me, so I just did it on bass, and then you like pitched it up on like an octave or something, and then I did like a little tapping arpeggio, that you then like did you put like a modulator on it, or what did you do?
Yeah, I put a filter that pans it from left to right. Yeah.
Okay, and then you I think you shifted it up an octave as well.
I think so. Well. Yes, I might have shifted it up to like it goes like I think for the first set, like
yeah.
I don't really remember the notes exactly, but it's like
yeah.
But the way that it moves is like from left to right, in one octave, and I think for the second half of that section, it like I think I might have
it goes up another octave, doesn't it? It does, and I love that effect on it. And honestly, it kind of pays homage to like the greatest influence on my musical journey, which is Muse.
Oh,
and, yeah,
sweet.
It sounds just like some of their like synth parts that they have going on, and like I was so happy to see like my influence on the album that was like stamped in there. You know what I mean? Like that's like a moment I know, hey, I drew influence from this band. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's pretty obvious too.
Now that you say that, I think I remember you saying that at the time. Yeah. That like it sounds similar to something that they could,
that they could do. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. But so then we had the bass, like kind of like the bass line to it. We had the arpeggios that I tapped on, and then we had the lead part that we put on there. And then Lucas that part. And then Lucas threw on his vocals that kind of foreshadows into Electric Love, and it just kind of like a nice little 1 minute intro thing that we've extended it for live now, but it's a really good part of the album.
And people love it.
Yeah.
There's a sign.
I was so shocked. Yeah.
Yeah. A sign at your album release party, which was epic, or not party, show.
Yeah.
That someone said like play Natural Forces or something.
That made me feel so good because like that was like one song on the album that like I pretty much wrote like all of the parts for, you know, and I played all the parts on it. So like I wasn't really expecting that song to like really reach a whole lot of people, but there was a lot of people who really liked it, and so much so that they like brought a sign with them. And whenever I saw that sign on stage, I was like, oh my goodness, that is the coolest thing ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then whenever we actually got to that part of the show, like that person was like screaming their heads off, and I was like, this is so cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I just wasn't expecting anything that like to come out of that, because it's just like an intro song.
It's it's like kind of like an interlude almost.
Yeah,
like it's a
that's
short
what it is.
snippet. Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah. But That's cool. I like it. Yeah.
You know, though, like when I listen, okay, there was two other parts that were added after the fact. Rylan brought in his lap steel. Do you remember that part?
Yes. Isn't that kind of like the ear candy thing?
Yes.
They threw in there?
Yeah. It's mostly just like we reverse some of it and all this shit. But like when I listen to that song as well, the feeling I get is that, and I think that might be why some people really gravitate towards it, is that you're listening to this record. If you listen to it from start to finish, you're kind of on this path of rock and roll, and then it slows down a little bit with Do the Eyes Sparkle. That's an acoustic song. But then when it goes to Natural Forces, it's really a different vibe.
It is.
You know, and it's almost got like an electronic, like...
It's kind of like a psychedelic thing almost. Yeah. Because, it takes you on, like, this atmospheric journey almost. Yes. Or at least that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from it. And it's kind of like I think this is cool about the album, is that it's kind of steering us in the direction that we're going. Because, granted, we are still, like, rock and roll or whatever, but like we definitely have influences from other like other genres now coming in on us.
Oh yeah.
And it's cool how the end of the album kind of resembles that, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, oh, where are we going next? And then the next album's going to be like different, you know what I mean? So I'm excited for that.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I actually I told Lucas this too. I had to give him kudos for standing his ground, because I wanted him to add a first verse to Electric Love.
I remember that, yeah.
But now when I listen to the album in its context and its entirety from start to finish, I feel like Natural Forces is such a good lead-in to Electric Love, because it gives you a taste of what's to come in the breakdown, the bridge section of Electric Love, but like it also is like very soothing. And then when when the chorus hits for the first time, like a little bit into the song, it's so powerful. I really think. I mean, like I was in the car the last time I heard it. I listened to it the last half of the album consecutively. Yeah. And then when Electric Love hit, I was like, oh, like I turned it up. I'm like,
it's just right.
Yeah, it's
that's
badass.
Awesome to hear. That's good to hear.
Yeah. But you know, when you're making the music, you don't think of it. I mean, you think of it in the context of an album, but you don't listen to it that way. Like,
absolutely.
I was just listening to it as each song. I'm like, I'm thinking about the music.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's how we were like working on it. Like you work on a song one song at a time. So you're trying to think like, what can I do to make this song the best song it can, instead of what can I make, like how can I make this song best fit the album, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I really like that we didn't have like a little verse for the intro.
Me too.
Yeah. And yeah.
I was thinking this is where my mind goes a lot, because I like singles. I like commercial music. I don't like shitty music, but I like songs that are traditional in their
structure.
Format. Yeah, their structure.
Yeah.
Just because that's like what I grew up listening to, and I like all kinds of music for the most part, but I just mean when I'm thinking, a lot of the times I do think of, I'm like, there's a verse section with no words.
Yeah.
Like it needs a verse.
Yeah.
But now when I hear it, I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's kind of it's a funny thing because I was at this fantasy rock camp in Florida, right?
Okay.
And I showed this song Electric Love to some of like the instructors there,
okay,
which are like these like world-renowned people, right?
Name three of them. Or
so you got Vinny Appice. He's played with Black Sabbath, Dio. He's played on like records such as like Paranoid, Iron Man, like a bunch of huge records.
Amazing.
Right? You have Tony Franklin, which he's toured with like I'm trying to think, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, The Firm, which is with Jimmy Page. So like he's played with a lot of people.
So you're showing this shit to some
big guys,
people.
Yeah. Then there's like Billy Sheehan, which is like one of my greatest influences on bass. There's like a bunch of people in this room,
Did
right?
you get to jam with him?
I got the opportunity to play his bass actually, and yeah, that was like the coolest thing ever. And he said, "That's nice playing, man," and that made my entire life. You know what I mean? I was like, one of my like icons just told me that he thought my playing was cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, I was showing these instructors in this class the song Electric Love.
Okay.
And it gets to like the drum solo, right?
Okay.
Which is kind of like this sporadic drum solo that Noah did. That was just kind of his style, you know? And Vinny Appice, the drummer for Black Sabbath, he kind of he was not a huge fan of it, and he was kind of vocal about it. And then Tony Franklin steps in, and he has the completely opposite opinion of him. And Tony was talking about
what
how
they say. Okay,
so,
sorry, you're about to say.
Well, yeah. So Vinny was just kind of, he was just, I don't even know what his deal was really, but and then Tony steps in and he's like, well, I would really like to hear this in like the context of an album, because I can hear this being like a really cool moment of the story. You know what I mean? And so Tony was all for it. So it was just kind of cool seeing like these two legends going at it about our own song. You know what I mean? Like one of them's like not a fan like of that specific part, and then the other one's like fighting like tooth and nail for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's I kind of agree with Tony in the fact that like a lot of that song you have to hear in the context of an album to really understand it. You know what I mean?
I think so too.
So yeah.
And like what's cool about that specific song today, even Noah passed, and now here we are a year and a half later almost. Thielen, when he plays that song becomes a highlight of the show in a lot of ways.
It really does, yeah.
Because Thielen is a monster on fucking drums.
He is.
So you give him basically
no rules.
Yeah, like
no rules.
Uncontrolled time period, like do whatever you want for the next however long.
Yeah.
And we're gonna sit here until you hear like do.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
It comes back in,
yeah.
and then you guys finish the song.
That's actually one of my favorite parts of every show is that drum solo, because I'm like, he always does it differently. He never has.
Never know.
Yeah, so I'm grooving with it every show, and it's just kind of cool. And then whenever he comes in with the dun 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 dun, then we go right back into it. It's just so powerful. I love it so much.
It is, and I think too, like if you're watching the show, it's a real entertaining moment because, like people. Even if you know the song, you might know that this part's coming, but like you said, it's always different.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he even goes into different grooves. Like, I think it was at the Fuchsia Fest where he started like slowing it down and like playing a nice ride, like playing the ride.
No, yeah, because like he'll go into like these like tom fills or whatever, and then all of a sudden he goes into like the grooviest ride beat you will ever hear in your entire life.
Yeah,
and like everyone's just vibing with it, and then he just like stops randomly.
You kind of forget that you're in the middle of a song.
Yeah, exactly, and then he'll just go back to like the tom, like his grooves or whatever. And then he goes back into the dun 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 dun, and we all go back into the whole song, the outro of it, and it's one of my favorite moments. So Thielen is a monster on drummer.
He is, dude.
On drums.
I told I think I told Lucas this, but I'm like, he's like a racehorse that can't wait to run. Like he sits down with his drums. Like you hear him I was listening to the Fuchsia recordings because I'm remixing them. And I heard him like literally he's like, all right, let's go. Like, he's like always like, let's just get going.
Let's
like,
do it.
Come on, like I'm ready to fucking play.
No, that's how he is in practice too. He does not like to stop playing. You know what I mean? Like we'll be taking a break and all of a sudden, Thielen's on the kit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but, it's great. And so something else that like that it just made me think of with the drum fill. That's an exciting part. Is I think your band now. The current Strangers are like, you have this ability to go in and out of songs, like you connect your songs.
Oh yes.
With these. I know that you have practiced them. Like I know that, like for example, let's take Sweet Holly. Sweet Holly live is a totally reworked song than the record or than the recording, but like. I like them both in their own way.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the live one for a sec. You guys have like that intro now.
Yes.
And then Lucas always has his little bit that he says, and then it like goes into the intro.
Yeah.
But then the song kicks in, and then this extended jam.
Towards the end.
Yes. And like, it's so fucking good.
Well, thank you. Yeah. The whole jamming section at the end actually just came from like in the moment jams live, like we do plan the intros a lot, and then we kind of run through those and see what works and see what does not work. But the ending jams section, that's mainly like Rylan's guitar solo, and we'll just kind of feel it out, see how we're feeling, how long we want to go.
Do you know, like when you're playing in those extended jams, you don't necessarily know how long it's going to go, right?
Not all the time. I would say for Sweet Holly, we've kind of like found our groove with that, and we kind of all know when we're gonna end it now. But like whenever they're starting to be formed, like we're all pretty open minded about like, okay, we don't really have a set time for this. We're just gonna see what feels right.
Okay.
And then like after typically like a month or so of playing it, we kind of find our way in that, and then we kind of settle on something.
So when you're deep in a jam on Sweet Holly, is it like, how do you know when you're going to a new section? Like, because like I'll hear you go back to like a main like doo 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 doo. Like you'll go in and out of, but then for a while it's like we're veering off into a total jam. But then it never leaves Sweet Holly. Like, are you listening to Thielen's drum fills, or what's the signaling, or is it just all
it's kind of different?
Subconscious.
It's kind of different for the time period. So like now that we've had it like figured out, I know pretty much exactly how many times I'm gonna play each riff. But like whenever,
are you counting that in your head, or you just know?
I can count it in my head, but like you can feel it too. Like 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 whenever you played like a riff 4 times, that it's supposed to go to the next riff, and you can feel it. You know what I mean? But I can't count it. But whenever it's being formed, like the jam's being formed, it's kind of like just listening. Like a lot of my parts are listening to Thielen, because like we're kind of like the backbone glue of the band, like providing a foundation for Rylan or a canvas for Rylan to paint whatever solo he wants to paint on it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's kind of what we do. But it's just kind of how we're feeling. A lot of it's the fills that Thielen does, and then like if he switches to like a ride, I'm like, oh, that might sound good, but the chorus riff. So then I just try different things out until like we figure something out and something settles in. Yeah.
But do you practice those extended jams in practice?
We do whenever we're prepping for a big show. So like the show that we're about to do at Louder Than Life, we have all of our transitions completely planned. We're going to run through that multiple times so we don't screw anything up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if it's like, hey, we're playing at like the Dale Fall Fest for 4 hours, it's like, okay, let's just like jam and see what happens. You know what I mean? Because we have as much time as we can.
That's so funny.
You know
that
what I mean?
that show used to be the show that you would prep your ass off for.
Yeah.
Now that's the show where you experiment.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a comedian who will play small clubs to try out some new material.
Yeah.
And then, save what is good and what works for the big shows.
I guess. Yeah.
But it really, like when I hear you guys, it doesn't sound even like the Troubadour show. Like what's cool about all those transitions is it doesn't sound planned. Like it feels spontaneous.
Yeah.
And that is exciting, like as a listener, as an audience member.
And I think it feels that way because that's where it was birthed, is like out of like spontaneous moments, you know what I mean? And we just kind of try to keep that vibe with the whole thing. Like we're a very jammy band, we don't like having I guess we have to play this many times, and if we don't do it, then like the song's wrong. You know what I mean? It's like we like to kind of experiment with songs, and there's some songs off the album that we play live now, like Sweet Holly, that have evolved like to be like not completely different, but in certain ways different. And it's just like how we keep things interesting for us.
Right.
Because if we played Sweet Holly like it is on the record, it would be fine, but like we'd be bored out of our minds by like the 50th or 70th time we play it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like we got to find ways to kind of keep it interesting, so we just kind of do different jams, we do different spins, intros, and just different things on it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's kind of how we keep like things relevant for us. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. You know, because like as an audience member too, it's exciting because I can listen to the record a million times, and I can do that on my own. But like when I go see you, I'm never quite sure what I'm gonna get, but I'm excited because I know it's gonna be.
That's
sick.
good to hear. Yeah, so that's good to hear. Hopefully, people like to come back and see us. Then, hopefully, that's a good factor to have. Yeah.
Well, and I told Lucas this, but like, so let's take the Fuchsia Fest for example. I'm there all day recording the bands, and I hear a bunch of bands from it's not different genres all the time, but it's different sounds. Each band has a different sound. Atlas of the Dogs comes on and kills it. I thought they did a great job.
They did an amazing job, yeah.
Yeah, and then honestly, I was kind of thinking like, how are the Strangers going to do better than that? And like, what I think Lucas said, I don't know if this was on the podcast or afterward, but he's like, we feed off that, man. Like he's he's like, I don't always like to hear the band before us because sometimes it gets in my head. I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to whatever. But like, because then all the night was like it was like an upward trajectory of like energy and performances because like when you guys came in, it was like, holy shit, this is like like this and you guys played a perfect set. Like it was the sun was going down, everybody
cool.
like everybody was there at that point, the food was there, like it was just like it was a vibe. People had been there for a while.
It was a cool vibe. I like that a lot.
But like you guys came in, did your thing, and like, but what you do versus at that time all the other bands there, in my opinion, and it's no shade to anybody, but like you guys, I know, work your asses off to get shit right in practice, and then you played a bunch of shows this summer, and like you guys came in there like a really fit band.
Well,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like you were like sharp. You knew your shit. There's no. It's like you know each other. You're not up there like talking like, what do we do? It's just like you know what I'm saying. It's just like you're just. It's like you're like a basketball team at the end of the season who's really been playing together.
Practiced all season. You're pretty
you know
polished.
how each other are thinking. You've been through some shit together at this point. You know, you played a bunch of games.
Well,
it's just like
that's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Yes,
and we do feed off of like, especially Atlas of the Dogs, because I think a lot of the feeding off has to do with like relationships that you have with the people in the band. Because like we're pretty good friends with them. You know, like we had a show here at Tiki on Main in Evansville, and that was the first time we ever met them. Super cool guys. We hung out afterwards. But like, I just know, like, if we weren't like super like friendly with them, or like we just didn't have like a good relationship, like we may have been like not as feeding off of that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like we could have taken it personally or something like that, or something stupid, you know. But
that's the good part about like for example, those guys. They have a different sound. Their records sound, especially their newer stuff.
Yes.
Which we're working on a new record right now.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it.
We're halfway done. But
okay.
Yeah.
Halfway done. Okay.
Yeah. They were just in here yesterday, and they're gonna come back on Friday.
Okay.
So like, we're in the midst of it. But
can you tell me how many songs are not on there? Not on the podcast.
No. Okay. It's just one song. Sorry.
Oh,
a single. It's a single.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I did say record.
No,
single record.
That's where my mind goes. Okay, cool. I'm excited
just one
for it.
song.
Okay.
But what's cool about them is like they're a different sound. They're especially their newer stuff. Your guys' newer stuff is a different sound, and you're really two different bands.
We are.
So you're not competing for anything.
No.
But in your similar age groups, their band has a different dynamic. Like Jax in their band, their lead singer is very like I don't know if flamboyant's the word, but like that's probably not the right word. I don't mean anything by that, Jax.
He's a showman.
He's a showman.
Yeah.
Yes. Lucas is more in the band.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I feel like Atlas is more like frontman heavy. You know what I mean? Like such as like a Soundgarden. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where like Chris Cornell is like in the front. Which the only reason I'm saying Soundgarden is because I was listening to Lucas's podcast and you guys mentioned him.
Yeah. Reference to them.
Yeah. But yeah, and like in our band, I definitely feel like Lucas is more part of like the entire group. You know what I mean? So and I like that vibe better. But.
I do too. Like prime example is at the Troubadour concert. You guys played first. Tough slot.
Yeah.
But you killed it. It started off kind of funny watching it online because Lucas throws up his hands and you're not there. You're on the other side.
Yep.
But I was like, oh shit.
Yep.
But
it happens.
It was muscle memory, dude. He was just doing. But so like you guys played. Lucas he's not reserved because he's singing, he's moving around, he's playing his shit. But he is a member of the band. He's not like out in front like the other guy of the other band, Breed. Yeah, that guy. It was more of like a. In the front, screaming, getting the crowd to do a bunch of crazy shit.
He was climbing up the what do you call it?
Like the rafters. Or
he was climbing up in the rafters. You know, like pretty much a lot of the focus was on him. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Whereas you guys are really a unit. Like the musicians in your band, you included, are so good that like the sound just is the thing.
Well,
like
thank
this,
you.
Yeah, the sound pushes. I actually think Lucas might be here. I keep seeing something walk by the window, but
Okay.
hell, he can come down here, but he's just probably walking around out there. But
he'll do himself.
Yeah.
He'll do Lucas.
Anyway, we can, dude, this is fun. Let's do this again.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because you're fun to talk to, and we just blew through in like over an hour.
Yeah.
And
cool.
we really didn't even get into half the shit. But before you go, okay, I have two things before you go. One thing, have you listened to the end of any of these podcasts?
I haven't listened to the end, no.
Okay. So did you know that there's a segment at the end where I ask random questions?
No,
okay,
but
so
I'm down for that.
I have one segment during the show, and it's called Don't Think, Just Act. So don't think, just say what comes to mind. So I'm going to rifle off 10 terms, names, ideas, and you tell me the first thing that comes to mind. Okay?
Oh boy.
Nothing scary. It's all good.
All right.
Okay. Bring this a little closer so I can see. Sloan Struble.
Oh, Dayglow. Yeah. Yeah, I love Dayglow. That guy's so awesome. Yeah. Yeah, he's super nice. Yeah.
So that I was listening to Dayglow this morning on Spotify, and on his I don't know why I looked at his bio. I never look at bios, or I rarely do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do, but it talked about his name, Sloan Struble.
Yeah.
I'm like, I remember Kadin saying this one time.
So am I allowed to talk about it a little bit or no?
A little bit.
Okay. So I went to this like concert that my friend was playing at in Texas, and I actually got to go backstage and like eat lunch with that guy, and he was the nicest guy you could ever meet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He gives that vibe off in his music.
Yeah.
Very friendly.
He's exactly how you would expect him to be. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, Sloan Struble.
Brett Mulzer.
Oh, more music. Yeah, he's the guy. I love Brett. Yeah.
He's a local legend.
Yes, he really is.
Lucas is here? Okay, tell him we're almost done. Okay. Then he can come down. They said no rush. They just wanted you to know. Okay, tell him just like 5 more minutes. Favorite concert you've been to?
Muse 2016.
Shit, I didn't even finish my sentence.
Oh, sorry.
Where was that at? No, I meant like you knew your answer.
Yeah. That was Chicago at the United Center.
Sweet.
It's where the Bulls play. Yeah.
Sweet.
That was actually the concert that made me want to do music as a living. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody has that concert.
Yeah.
Favorite album released this past summer?
Oh, this past summer. I'm trying to think.
It could be this past year.
Oh man, that's hard.
Give me 2.
I'm gonna have to come back to that one.
All right, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Favorite song ever?
Oh, dude.
Favorite song today?
Favorite song today? That would be
Say it.
Dude, I don't know.
What came to mind? Something came to mind.
Hot Rod Dayglow.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Brooks Music?
Yeah, Brooks the Pineapple. Shout out my man Brooks from Texas. He's coming up to be my bass tech for Louder Than Life.
I'm excited to meet him.
Yeah, no, you guys are gonna you guys are gonna just like love each other.
That's
I just
awesome.
know. Yeah,
I'm excited to meet him. Wally
Opus.
Nice. Who's your idol?
Chris Wolstenholme from Muse.
Is he the bass player?
Yes.
Okay.
Bass player.
Most memorable stranger moment?
First concert. Yeah, that was it. That
moment. Sealed the deal, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
You get one night to hang out with any musician you want, not your idol. Any musician you want, dead or alive. Who is it?
Probably Jimi Hendrix.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think Jimi Hendrix, yeah. He's probably the man.
You probably would just jam with him.
Yeah, probably.
Bass and guitar.
That'd be cool.
Okay. I just want to say, this is wrapping it up. I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of your bandmates on how hard you've worked to get where you're at, because I really think that like you've put in so much effort to get people to come to your shows, to vote for you, to listen to your record. You guys have done so much. It's not like you just sit back passively and things happen. You're out there. You guys went door to door.
Yeah, we did.
Handing out
with flyers, and then we were like newspapers and stuff like that.
Yes,
but, yeah.
Yes. You've done so much to get yourselves where you're at. And you guys deserve a lot of credit for that.
Well, thank you.
And I really think it's only the beginning, because who the fuck knows what happens after Louder Than Life. But like as I said earlier, like the Strangers are a group effort, and everybody plays their own part, whether it's in the music or in the social media or going door to door, getting your shit. And I just think that I am honored, and I love the fact that I have been a part of the Stranger story.
Thank you for being a part of it. We couldn't have done a lot of this without you, obviously, with the record and everything. The record's been the launching point for a lot of different things, so thank you for that.
Yeah. Heck yeah,
cool.
dude.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I love that I know you guys. I love that like it all happened here in the beginning.
It did. Yeah.
I love that you guys are on your way to doing this big show.
I'm hoping so, yeah.
I love that I am going to be able to be there with you guys.
It's going to be fun.
Yes, like it's just an epic. It's awesome. It's fucking awesome. For a band who literally you said we were down here and wasn't sure it was going to continue to be where you're at now. And I know that this is just the launch point.
I hope so.
You're 19.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, it is the launch point, at least for the rest of your adult life. So, so thank you for doing this. Do you have any closing remarks? Anything you want to say to the listeners?
Not really. I mean,
8 people who listen to the podcast.
Hey, man. I'm sure it's on its way to the big things. But no, just thanks for having me on here. It's been great. Yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah. We'll catch up after your
Let's do it. Yeah.
show.
Let's do that for sure.
Yeah. I might bring a couple of you guys in.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll have some stories for you.
Yeah.
It'll be cool.
Yeah. Who would you want to meet this weekend?
I want to meet Flea really bad from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I really want to meet Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains. Me and Rylan actually met the guys from Dirty Honey a few years ago, but we want to like talk with them again and be like, hey, you remember us from the show? Now we're playing like with you guys. You know,
same stage, I think, right?
I think they're on the other main stage.
Yeah,
but yeah,
because the way the stage, which I didn't realize this till I looked at the diagram and I saw about was Bourbon and Beyond the same setup.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, for those who don't know, DW Presents puts on both Bourbon and Beyond and
Louder Than Life and a bunch of other
within a
festivals,
week of each other, by the way, which is crazy. But it's 2 main stages
right by each other.
They alternate.
Yeah, so whenever one band ends, they like start cleaning up on that stage while the other stage starts their band. So there's no like downtime.
That's a great idea.
It's a great idea.
For festival people, that's a great idea.
Yeah, there's like maybe 2 minutes of downtime in between each artist, and it's so cool because it's just music all day. You know what I mean?
And the downtime's just so everybody can like turn their attention, shift to the other stage.
Yeah, like at Bourbon, I was at Greta's show, at Greta's stage, and then as soon as they got done, I like ran over to the Pearl Jam stage and I watched them. So
nice.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Did Marby end up going?
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
got her wish.
She got her ticket.
She got her free ticket. From the Twitch dudes.
Yeah, Bobby and Jake and Balls.
Bobby, yeah. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Are they going to be there this weekend?
Yeah.
They were there last weekend.
They played our song on the Bourbon and Beyond recap video.
Which is fucking epic. Which can we download that?
I have it on my phone. I have the link.
It's the link.
Yes, I don't know if we can download it.
Because I would love to share that, or like share that, like check, brag about. Look at this.
Wait, you can post it. You can post the link.
You can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
cool.
just do that.
Sweet.
All right. Thank you, man.
Yeah. Let's do it again, man.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Everybody have a great week. Thanks for listening to Mining in the Foothills. Follow the Strangers everywhere that you can follow shit, pretty much. And where are you guys most active? Instagram and
Instagram.
TikTok?
Yeah, I would say Instagram. We're probably the most active.
Okay.
So.
And come see a show.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
We'd love to talk to you, just to see all you guys. We want to interact with you guys.
Hang out and say hi. I would say go to Louder Than Life, but by the time this comes out, the show's going to be over.
Well, yeah, the tickets are also sold out. So.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're sold out. So.
Dude, I just sold I had an extra ticket. I just sold it to somebody for under what I paid for it.
Ooh, you could have gotten
because I'm a dumbass.
I know someone who sold their ticket for $900.
What?
Yeah. Sorry to burst your bubble.
Whoever got my ticket got a fucking deal.
Yeah, they did.
Oh my God. $900.
$900.
Dude, I shouldn't have brought that up.
Yeah.
God bless it.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. All right. That's it for today. Thank you guys for listening. Kadin, best of luck this weekend.
Thank you so much.
Kill it. I'll be there to root you guys on.
It's going to be fun.
So
let's
excited.
do it.
All right. Thanks, guys.